Okay. Ah, there we go.
All right. Yes. So one of the things that we spoke about, the one of the things that Deborah suggested is an open letter from the mothers to the elders, to the church leaders, to the legislators and policymakers, even within the sect, and just expressing our pain, expressing our request that we be heard, that the girl child be treated like the boy child is being treated. So Deborah, no, we haven't done much. So I think that's the next step. We had said in that episode that we were going to come up with areas and share these areas where mothers can write letters in their own languages, in different languages, and just send them through. So maybe Deborah, you can tell us more a bit on what should the letter say, what are we saying, even if we are writing it in our own different languages.
I think the letter should be we should approach these powerful guys humbly. I find myself I've done everything I've done from learning from other people. When I approach someone beating your chest, they will not help you. But if you humble yourself and say, "Oh, please help me with this," people will normally take notice because people want their ego stroked. We might have to stroke their egos to get our result. That means we are going to write the letter. First off, you write about your experience with this, how you know about this, because most of us have known for life this has been going on. So you write a short history of how you know about it, how this particular incident has impacted you, and how you felt you've let children down. And now, as a mom, as a woman, you are now appealing to the father, the leader, to please help me protect my own.
So we are coming from in a humble place of appeal, and
Yes.
we not challenging them. We not, because we know usually when we confront men in either whatever kind of relationship, they tend to be more aggressive and more defensive, such that you don't come out with a solution. Welcome, Liz Wokani Pasipanojka. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself and tell us where you are joining us from.
Okay.
Unmute. We can't hear you.
He's muted. He's muted. Oh, unmute. Unmute.
So she was unmuted, but we couldn't hear her. So maybe her volume.
Yeah, it is mute. Okay, now he is. Okay.
Yes.
Now your volume is not good. It's not good.
It's
There's
more.
something.
All right. So while Liz tries to sort her volume and sound out, Kathleen, the issue of letters and coming from a humble place. What your thoughts?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we need to come together to a point where we have to come to humble ourselves as what we say and write letters in our own languages and then explain how this incident, this incident has touched us in a way as mothers. Because when mothers are not empowered, that is where we normally go and say we do ask humbly because we need to protect our own children. And when a child is hurt, mostly it hurts the mother because you are the one who carries the baby and we are the one who goes into labor and give birth. So if that child is hating or that child is sick, it's the mother who actually has to go through pains to accept what is going on. And worse still, when the situation gets worse and the child dies, like in this incident, it hurts more. But then we need to come to a point of understanding and closure that what has happened. But now let's start on a fresh note, and let's now advance into a better society where the girl child is protected and the girl child is educated to a point where she can then manage to stand on her own feet and do the things that she needs to do, and she must be given a voice and a right of choice to choose, because it's a human right for the girl child. It has to start from where we are going forward. That's my suggestion.
That's so true. And I think the issue of choices when we are raising children also is important. As much choices that we give to the boys, we must also give to the girls. Liz, have you managed to sort out your sound? Say something. You're unmuted now. No, still struggling. We can hear some sound from your feed. You we hear a song play, so maybe jump off and come back into the studio again. I think that might help. Okay, so the position that we are taking, I think it's a very powerful position where we are humbling ourselves, where we are saying we I don't know, because I know that amongst our activist groups, our female activist groups, there's an issue of how do we manage patriarch? Are we perpetuating? Because I'm sure we're going to have some backlash with this when we go and we kneel before them. A backlash from some of our sisters that what are you perpetuating the patriarchal structure? Are you saying that a woman should always submit themselves before men? How do we handle that? Because this definitely will come.
This is where we are going wrong as women leaders. Okay, if you confront me in any situation, I'm gonna have my defenses up.
True.
Any situation, if you come to me confrontational, I'm gonna have my defenses up. Everyone knows clever women lead from behind.
Yeah.
Everyone knows clever women lead from behind. Countries are being run by women, quiet women that follow behind, but they know how to lead. If you confront, you create war. He feels powerful. You are the one leading, but he's powerful. He's like this, but he's going to help you and do exactly as you wish. If you confront, you fight. All this women liberation, it's beautiful, lovely, until you can't lift something. Then you call him. Then you call, because you have already confronted him. His ego is injured. What do you think he will do? Confrontation always will create war. If we go to them and say, we are liberated, we are women, then they say, okay, do it yourselves then. And they won't change the law because they are in the law. How are we going to get there? Are we going to get arms up and start fighting them? Or are we going to get in there and then rule from inside? My grandfather was Sabuk. Mm-hmm. And I knew from when I was like yay high that my grandmother was the one telling him what to say. Because he'll come home and say, "Oh, this is what happened. So and so have been fighting, and I don't even know how to rule this because so and so is very angry and bullish. What do I do? I don't know what to do." Not asking my grandma specifically, and my grandmother will say, "If I were you, this is how I'll do it. But then it's up to you, my husband, because you are the man." And guess what? Yeah, you are the sub-book, my husband. I'm just saying as a lowly woman over here. And guess what? You go and do exactly that. And then you come home and say, "Oh, I had a great idea. This is how I solved it." And my grandmother will say, "I knew it will come to you. You are a very, very clever man." And leave it at that. And guess what? She was running the household all this time. She was, and I thought, this woman is very clever. She never confronted him, never. Even when he's angry, she will say, "I'm so sorry, my husband. I messed up." And he'll go, "I'm the man." In the meantime, she's the one pulling all the strings. And you see her smiling like...
She was a wise woman. Even
in a marriage, if you confront, you're always going to fight.
True. So So we need wisdom. Otherwise, then there's no solution, because we need the solutions. We need the church leaders to start influencing, because the church leaders are influential. Imagine if we could get to the top Marange leadership and just do this, bring them the letter, we humble ourselves before them and we hand over the letters. Imagine the influence that they have. If the leader just speaks and says no more, we need to find a better way, then we know everybody listens to him. And we would have moved that wall and this mountain that has been facing us for generations. Good morning, Mabel, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Ruth. Hi, Deborah, and hi, Catherine.
Hi, Mabel.
How are you? And hi, Liz. How are you?
Is she winning with with her sound?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Oh, yes. Okay. So welcome to the show. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're joining us from.
Me or Mabel?
Is that me?
You Liz first, then Mabel.
Liz, yeah.
Okay. My name is Liz. I am in Sydney, Australia. I am a naturopath and I work with women. I don't have kids myself, but I work with women that have fertility issues and also help them through to birth. So I basically support women that are pregnant until they've given birth, but also any women that have hormonal issues. So this Marange issue really touched me because for someone who advocates for women and for someone who sees diseases that actually develop in teenagehood, and then we kind of treat them when people are in their 30s and in their 40s, it's almost like we are creating this whole pandemic, so to say, for these women and these girls in years to come. And so looking at it from that perspective, and being a girl, being a woman myself, I just felt like, we can't just watch it and just not do anything. So that's why I've been, in touch with people. We're in a little group where we are talking about it and looking at things that we can do and how we can help the situation. So it's pretty good that you guys have already gotten together and are doing what you are doing. And it's really quite impressive. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Liz. And what's your opinion on this open letter that we're going to present before the leaders, the elders in the church, before the policymakers and the legislators?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. But the thing is, I don't know whether they would actually respond to a letter, or should we be actually asking to actually spend a day with them and talk to them in a very cordial meeting where we actually just having like a discussion and then maybe taking it up from there. But I don't know, maybe the letter works. I mean, I'm not on the ground, but I personally find that talking helps more than when you're reading a letter. Because when you're talking with someone, you can see how they're expressing themselves facially. They can hear you what you're saying. You can break down when you're expressing a point, and somebody can be touched emotionally. When they live there, they're different. Whereas when it's a letter, it's too formal. That's what I think. I think that if we could organize a meeting, it could be better. It could get us better results, because you are talking as a woman when you've got a daughter and you're imagining your daughter going through that at 13. You might even have a 14-year-old in the house and you're starting to imagine her going through that. When you put that across as a person, it's different when you put it across as a letter, because you're reading. It's a reading. Oh, okay, this is what they're thinking. But when I'm looking at you, I'm going to look at your facial expression. I'm going to see that tear that is dropping off. I'm going to be touched. And when I go back there, I'm different. That's what I think.
Okay, so the background to the open letter strategy was because we are in different parts of the world and not all of us can be together. So at least if we get letters, then when we go to this meeting, it's obviously going to be a meeting with them. We will be able to present letters as well, over and above the discussions and the and the talking that we will do.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to all our viewers through the different platforms, our YouTube and our Facebook page through Gertrude and her story pages. Good evening, Gertrude. How are you? Good to have you on our show.
I'm good. How is everyone tonight?
We're good.
We are not at night now, we are morning.
Definitely tonight for me.
Nice, yes. So we have some comments from Facebook. Karin, thank you again for joining us. So great to have your support all the way from Sweden. Karin says she loves listening to us, learning so much from us, and she's a Swedish woman who stayed in Swaziland and in Zimbabwe a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
We also have a comment from Linda Nkomo. Linda Nkomo is a very dear friend of mine. She's based in South Africa. And Linda says, this topic being discussed is heartbreaking. While the focus is on Zimbabwe, in South Africa, we have just received a report of 900 girls. Sorry, somebody please pick up the comment, because
900 girls between 10 to 14 having given birth in one province. While in Zim, the issue is in the limelight, is denomination specific, we are facing it as a continent, a crisis of child rape. We need to go back to thinking as parents who see every child as our child. Thank you, Linda. It's very, very true. The world's children are ours. It doesn't matter whether a child is in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in the Caribbean, in the UK, in New Zealand. The world's children are ours. And when we personalize it as if it is our child, that's where the difference really lies.
That's so true. So we were talking, Gertrude, the topical discussion is the open letters that we are going to take to the legislators, to the policymakers, as well as the church leaders, and the approach that we are going to use in that meeting and the discussions that we're having. So we were just weighing in on how do we approach this, because one of the things that we may face from our own sisters is the backlash when we submit, because we said we're going to kneel before these leaders, and there's going to be some backlash, some kickback from some of our sisters on. So are we perpetuating the patriarchal structure? Are we saying that as women, we must bow before men?
Okay, that's an interesting point. And my attitude to that is this. If I have to kneel to save a child's life, I will kneel. As a woman, as a mother, if that's what's going to bring about the change that we're looking for, that's what we will have to do. So, we can take feminism to a point.
Yeah.
we have to be very, very wary of not adopting systems that work in first world countries who are 500 years ahead of where we are now. In a country like New Zealand, hell no, I wouldn't kneel before any man. In the UK, I'm sure Deborah will be saying exactly the same thing. But we have to deal with what is on the ground. If it means that we achieve and get this bill passed, what do we have to lose? So long as our objective is met and the legislation changes in Zimbabwe to forbid child marriage, I don't think we would have gone a step back. I think we'll have achieved a goal. Then we can work on chipping down on all of the other patriarchal systems and ways of being that we've been forced to do for centuries. But right now we have one mission, we have one vision, and we have to keep focused on what the mission of this objective is. Otherwise, we lose track, we start fighting a feminist war, we start going into other areas that will not bring about the change that we're looking for.
Exactly.
So it's the same as a woman in a relationship. Sorry, Deborah, I'll let you jump in just now. It's the same as a woman in a relationship with a man, and your partner is beating your child every single day. As a mother, would you stand there and let that happen? If it meant that I had to kneel in front of that man and beg him to stop hitting my child, that's what I will have to do. So that's how we have to look at it. It's not that we're losing dignity. It's not that we're losing track of who we are as women. We have an objective. We want the legislation to change. We want this bill to be passed. And if that's what it's going to take, that's what we're going to have to do. Jump in, Deborah. That's just my view.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. If you knock on my door and say, please open the door for me, it's different from saying, open this door now. I won't open that door. This letter is a knock on the men's door. We can't fight this from outside. We need to be inside the lawmakers' minds to fight them. Now, if we go in with our knives up, ready to fight them, they'll just shut their doors and put their defenses up, and they won't even listen to us talk. Women, they're starting again. That's what they will say. By kneeling, what I mean is humbleness. We need to be humble to get inside these big people's minds. Once you humble yourself, someone will listen to you. If you confront people, they will not listen. You have already lost your dignity to them. They're already thinking, stupid. When we were growing up, remember, when father was beating up children, like Gertrude have just said, mother would actually clap and say, please, say, and that will serve a purpose. If the mother would attack the father as well, she'll be attacked in turn. But to protect a child, she humbles herself and appeal to the male ego. We can only rule these guys from their heads, not physically saying, we are women and we won't be ruled by anyone. We are being ruled now. What's the difference? These guys are in power now. 99% of people in power are men. So whatever we are trying to fight isn't working. We are not in power. We need to get inside the powerhouse and appeal to them to listen to us as mothers.
Yeah, I'll chime in as well. I think we have to look at it as a point of what's the strategy? How do you get into the house? Like Deborah said, when you knock at my door, when you come into my house, you observe my rules. You sort of have a conduct according to how we live. You don't come in and suddenly enforce your policies, your way of life in my house. So I think it's a strategy, and we look at every battle. You have to have a strategy before you go into war. And I think we have to have a cultural strategy, being able to understand the people we're dealing with. So whilst, like Gertrude said, in New Zealand, in the Western world, it is not probably a strategy would use to go kneel down in front of the men, but culturally being aware of the environment and the people and society we're dealing with, then we need to have a cultural strategy. We need to have an awareness of the people we're dealing with. It's not demeaning, but it's just being culturally aware and not being idiotic and just go in and knock and trump the place. I always make reference to the Bible. It talks about women. It says the wife has to be adaptive to her husband. That means you should adapt. You should have a way to approach him with whatever conversation, what you need to be doing. And I think this is a typical scenario where we have to be adaptive to the way we approach and attack the situation. If you look at Esther, how she tackled her king, she was in a position of power, but she humbled herself and she chose a perfect time to talk to the king about changing the legislation. She could have gone and said, I'm feminist and I'm powerful, but she waited for a perfect time. She humbled herself. She even beautified herself more so that she could get the attention of the king. So for us as women, we should have a strategy. It may be several goals on how to approach these men. So for example, one of the strategies is being culturally aware that this is the setting we're working with, this is the mindset of the people we're working with. So it's not demeaning to go kneel, it's being aware of how they work. And if you're going into their house, we need to observe their rules and then find a common ground to talk and present our case.
I think that's what is called wisdom. Thank you, Mabel. Thank you for that. So I'm also thinking now as we are talking and opening up about how do we do this, we probably will need some women within the sect who will tell us the structures, who will tell us how things should be done. I'm just thinking, like, how do we get to talk to the church leaders? Obviously, we need somebody from inside.
Yeah, so this is now where we have to think of who are the key players who will help us make this happen. Within the church, there are females who also lead. You know, Kathleen, you were saying that your mother was a prophet within the church.
Yeah.
We just have to identify who are the women who are respected within this community and let them lead this conversation. Remember, we are coming in as facilitators. We're not coming in to make people change anything or do anything. It has to come from within. The pressure has to come from the women within the sect for this to actually work. And we're just there as sisters, supporting, facilitating the process of change. So I don't know this church. I don't know how it operates. Ruth, you are on the ground. Kathleen, you are from that sect. You've experienced it. You know what it stands for. I'm pretty sure if we put the word out, we will find more women that we know within our circles who also have this knowledge, who could be able to help. Now, in terms of strategy, you know, Shaka Zulu won a battle against the British with no guns. He was a strategist who used tactics that overthrew the British with all of their technology and all their guns. So what is going to be our strategy? One of the things I learned during my history classes is that he formed a horn shape around the people they were going to attack. Very, very simple strategy. Who are we going to put around this movement who can help us drive it forward? So let's really be specific and calculated in terms of how we will do this. Ruth, I can see we've got two more people who could join us. Are you going to add Wadzi and Dorothy?
I am trying to, but...
All right, I can do it from here.
Thank you.
Okay, Wadzi and Dorothy, you are on video. Welcome to the call. And thank you for being here. Looks to me like Wadzi is probably at work. So I might just take her off camera. Yep, it looks like she's preoccupied with something.
Thank you.
But Dorothy, welcome to the call. Please tell us who you are, where you're coming in from.
Hello, ladies. I'm Dorothy Deve. I'm from Harare Waterfalls.
Welcome, Dorothy. How did you find out about our group and how can you weigh into this discussion? I'm not sure how much you've been listening to so far.
I've been introduced to this by Catherine Mauto, and I'm so sad about this story of Machaya. So I'm interested just to see you ladies talking about Dorothy Machaya, and I want to be with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the call.
Yes,
Wadzi, can
thank
you
you,
wave
Wadzi.
if you would like us to add you to the call? Wadzi?
She's dropped, I think.
Okay. So Ruth, if you are aware of who Wadzi is, if you have a WhatsApp number, just make her aware that we could add her to the call if she wants to contribute. Or if one of you knows Wadzi, just get in touch with her and make her aware. So where were we? We were talking about
Who do we
strategy,
need?
right? Yes. So let's all chime in here. Let's chime in with some ideas. We've said we're going to try and find someone, women who are already within the church. That's one thing. We could also look for other church leaders. It doesn't have to be the apostolic faith. Other women in other church religious sects who could come on board. Organizations like Women in Gender. What else? We've got a contribution from Linda on Facebook. She said the strategy may need to be multi-pronged. Men, especially traditional leaders, need to be part of the solution, and possibly the ministries of child welfare and social development or equivalents. It's important to manage the perception of being a woman issue as opposed to being a societal crisis that is going on even outside of specific church. Thank you for that, Linda.
Can I just chip in?
Yes, please.
Well, I think if we look at one sphere of saying it's about the church, no, this has been a culture, long way that has been going on. Now, coming up now to the church is a question of them recognizing that culturally that is what their fathers used to do. And they used to marry the young girls in those early days. So now, if we have to have a structure that we can now go around this whole issue of girl-child marriages, we need to go through elders of those churches. I still have got families who are still in that church, who can actually tell us who are on the top bench as far as this Amaranga thing is concerned. But now, like even to the new churches, even the Pentecostal churches who started very early, they are not even 2 years, 10 years, whatever. The man in those churches, they are also doing the same. But meanwhile, the Bible they preaches, you don't do those things. You do not Holy Spirit. They are still following it. So it's like we are actually binding the whole bunch of culture, religion, and just a main ego of thinking that you can get a virgin. You can use any woman, any age. So, which is why it's not just the religious ones, but it's also a main issue that we need to find a way to say, instead of going through them, the law should be there in the first place. Because if we talk of tackling this from behind the churches and whatever, when the law is not there, they can always come back and say, no, the law is not there, so I can do anything. So we want the law in place, because I think this is where things are not going right, because the law is not there, which actually adheres to a man not to touch a minor, because it's rape and it has to be touched as it is. It just be called by its name. It's rape of a minor. It's an abuse. So the man should be deterred from that. So what we need is the law in place. So I don't know how to go through to the point where the bill goes into parliament, gets discussed, and then it passes on.
Can I
I
say
think
something?
Okay.
I was going to say there was a court case in 2016 that actually ruled that child marriage was illegal, but I do not know what has been done to make it law. Like, has it been legislated? But it was a constitutional court that actually ruled that it was illegal. So 2 girls had gone to court about that, and they were represented by Tendai Biti, and the law actually ruled that it was illegal for women or men to marry under 18. So either you're a man or a woman. If you're married under 18, it's illegal, right? So I do not know whether that is actually a known law, whether it's something that we're actually applying in. We might need to look at that and see what exactly happened after that. But that's what reference I have.
When this Machaya case started, if you go back to the video, the minister was saying the law has been shelved because it has not been brought to the parliament for discussion for it to be passed on.
Yeah.
The law. But the constitution says you cannot marry a minor if he's below 18.
Yes.
Yeah. So what in the constitution should specify that the constitution says you cannot marry a minor. But the law hasn't been passed through the parliament to become law, so that someone can be charged of rape. I think that's what I understood. That's what I heard when she was talking.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, our approach is, Kathleen, we are going to look at the different areas of leadership. We're going to look at the religious, we're going to look at the, I'll say legal, I'll say, no, that's not the word I'm looking for, the legislative leaders. We're going to look at the, we'll even go as far as the traditional leaders, where do the chiefs meet, Madzimambo Sangana Kupi, because they have their own councils that they hold nationally or in the different provinces. And then those, so we're looking at it from a wider range. We're looking at it from a, like we really attacking, like Gertrude was saying, like the bow, the strategy I was using. So we multiply.
Lost Ruth.
Yeah.
I think maybe her connection has dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Ruth, any other contribution? Yes, Deborah?
Even if the law is passed, we need it to be implemented every time a child is abused. There's no way of thinking about it. There's no way of going to discuss about it. No. When someone steals something, they are arrested and then they are tried. They need to implement these laws. People need to be arrested first. So that this sends a message to everybody else, whether be it church, be it some people are marrying off their children because of poverty. These laws, once they're implemented, they will know, oh, so-and-so was arrested for doing the same thing. They need to be implemented so that people see. None of these letters, sending letters to say, oh, we are still investigating that this child died. Yes, the child died. Everybody knows the child died. So what are you investigating? What's there to investigate? Was she pregnant? Yes. So that means child rape. Someone needs to be taken into, at least arrest someone. Show us that you are implementing the law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I?
Yes, sure, Mabel.
Yeah, I still think also, as the other viewer said, that the strategy has to be have many facades. I still think having men on the team, both even from going on ground when they go to meet up with these chiefs and even the other leaders, that because I think if we just go as women, then it shows up like it's a women issue. And then so I think it's very important now as we're being specific, like Gertrude said, to start thinking about other key players who are males that can partner with us and speak with us. Obviously, there are places where I'm thinking the chiefs might not want or might not put or value the woman's input when they speak. So if there's a man who's coming forward into those meetings and speaking, then they're more open. So like I go back to being culturally aware as to what they do and how they consider the women role and the man role. So I think being aware and putting other men, start thinking about key players that are males. So maybe start looking at other organizations or just even other people that are males to partner with us so that it doesn't appear as a women issue, but rather that they can partner with us and help us speak the message through so that it's a parental issue, not as just a women issue. It's a societal issue, but not just a women issue. So I think men are also key players in this strategy.
Thanks, Mabel. Welcome back, Ruth. I saw you dropped off there. You were in the middle of a sentence.
Yes. So I think it's been said already. I don't know, but I lost power for a moment. So yes, I agree with Mabel that we will need men. We like Gertrude said. I think the end goal, keeping the end goal in mind, is what we need with this issue. Just not worrying about who's recognized. Is it the women that we need to be recognized that it is us who pushed for this agenda? I don't think now, after so many generations, we need that. If it's going to be men that are going to be at the face of this issue, we want the change to come. If that change is going to come with us behind, with us just pushing the men in front, then we do it. Let them take all the glory. Let them say that they changed the situation. It's okay as long as the girl child is being protected.
Yeah, and I think really if we go in with that appeal that you are our husbands, you have let us down, you have let your children down, I think we'll be much, much more effective than going in as a feminist force for change. The men need to take responsibility for this. The husbands in our communities need to be saying, this, enough is enough. There's enough intelligent men in Zimbabwe to be able to do this. You know, this is now a time for us to call on our brothers, our uncles, any male relative we have in Zimbabwe and enroll them in this vision and in this mission.
True. That's true, because they sit Matares in their different areas. They sit their meetings and councils. What are they discussing? This is an issue that they should be discussing.
Yeah.
And taking that responsibility as a parent.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's now, I like things that have an outcome. You know, we could talk until the cows come home. We could come online every single day until the cows come home. Shall we say that each and every one of us reaches out to a male relative, whether they're in Zimbabwe or outside of Zimbabwe? Can we each try and reach out to 1, 2, 3 male relatives that we can bring on board behind this? That be a difficult thing to do? I'm pretty sure we can each find somebody who can resonate with this message and the vision of what we're trying to create. Are we agreed?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
And so
I was also sorry, Gertrude.
No, go for it.
Okay, I was going to say that I don't think it's coincidental that Mabel is from Marange, and maybe what we need to explore is there anyone in the village who may have information who's already in Marange that could help us, either male or female, from your family?
I think I will need to do more work. It would have been easier if I was just thinking if my dad was alive, it would have been so easy. But it's okay. I'll make some calls. My mom will refer me to some people, and my dad's sister is still around, so I can get some information and get back to you. So that will be my homework for today.
That'll be awesome. And the rest of us tomorrow, let's see if we can each come back on this call with one male representative in our lives.
That's a great.
That be
yeah,
difficult?
That's great.
I think we need with every single meeting like this to feel like we've got a step ahead.
Yes, yeah.
If we show up tomorrow, and between the 6 of us, there's now 12.
Yeah.
We've each brought one male relative to the table. Then that's a step forward. That's progress, as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to reach out to as many male relatives as we can. I know we're limited to 10 people on this platform, but what we can do, Ruth, is we can have them on Facebook, and we can actually have a conversation with them. Maybe we could set up a Zoom link. Let's really be creative about this technology and see how we can have 2 meetings, one in a Zoom room somewhere, and I can bring them on Zoom, like you're watching them sharing the screen. There's a way we can do it. So I would moderate the Zoom room. Ruth, you can moderate this platform, but let's bring in 10 male people. Okay, so Linda is asking, Gertrude, please repeat the expectations from the men that we approach. So our expectation is that we need male representatives, family, friends, uncles, cousins, who could come with us to present this issue to the government. We need a strong male presence. Doesn't matter what capacity they're in. It could just be a father who feels that this is a case he wants to get behind. It could be your brother. It could be your uncle. And they don't necessarily have to be in Zimbabwe. They can be overseas. The more people we have, the more voices we have, the more males who can get behind this, the more effective this appeal is going to be. Because this practice is being perpetuated by men. There isn't a mother who wants her daughter to be married off at 11. That much I know, if she had a choice.
True.
That's true.
I hope that answers your question, Linda.
I've seen that the Facebook groups, and I'll go and try and join and follow and see who's in power, who's talking, and who can maybe help us.
That would be wonderful, because on a Zoom call, we can have more than 10. So let's make that a point of action. I mean, already, just as what we've been doing this past week, we've now got about 20 women who step forward. We can do the same thing on the men's side. So that's our homework. Every one of us has to go out and reach out to as many male relatives as possible. We will give them a Zoom link. And Ruth, we can share my Zoom link and the passcode. All of you, I think you already have my Zoom link except for Liz. But let's get people to register so that we can bring them on the call tomorrow. And again, Ruth, when we share this link, please tell people that if they're not going to participate, we will kick them off, because they're hogging a spot right now. You know, we have one person who is on, and he's actually blocking somebody who could be participating live. So if they just want to watch, they can watch this on Facebook, through our Facebook group, or through YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. I think also those that have sons, it's important that we either bring them into the Zoom room or into this broadcast, because our sons, our young sons, need to learn from the elders. So if once we get the group of men that are going to represent us, our sons must also be part of that influence.
Yeah. Definitely. I have 2, so I'll see who I
I
can
have
rope
one.
in tomorrow. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
another issue
so
I was
now,
Kathleen has a question quickly.
sorry.
just a quick question. Are we also stressing out on the point of Dr. Terry Trent, the contribution to
Yes.
education?
Yeah, because that is part of what we're trying to achieve as a long-term goal,
Yeah.
is to get as many girls to go to college, to go to school, so we can break the cycle of poverty in most of these communities. So we're working with Dr. Terelai Trent. I know that her mission has reached 56,000 this morning. When I checked, she was trying to raise 100,000. She's at 56,000 now. So let's just keep reaching out to our friends, to our colleagues. And Ruth, if you could update the description on this post and put a link to her website so people know where to donate and where to contribute.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. Anything else, ladies? Anything else that has come up for you? Any other point of discussion?
There was an article. We still don't know. Oh, actually, there was a letter from the police commissioner. Kathleen forwarded that to me. Now that the family is saying the child who died is not memory. The child who died is somebody else. They've got a name, a different name, and their birth certificates and all that. And it's just been so confusing on what really is going on in that community.
So maybe this is what what's the name of the lady who was with us yesterday who said that a lot of this is hearsay?
Okay.
The honest truth is, whether it was memory or not, this is happening. This didn't just come out of thin air. We all know this has been happening for years, for as long as I know, and I'm 54. We know that children are being married off. The last time I was in Zimbabwe, 2018, we were aware that this stuff is happening. So I think this was just a match that has lit a fire. Whether it's true or not, this practice is going on in Zimbabwe, and it's time that it stopped. And this could just have been the catalyst that gets the ball rolling for that to happen. So whether or not it's true, to me, it's irrelevant. It's given us an excuse to get together and bring about change.
Yeah.
I think also we spoke about creating it as a movement. Like, you know, when those footballers were abused racially and we had we say no to racism and people were putting them on their profiles and stuff. Like to make as much noise where people on the platforms where people are, so that, like they say, people are saying it's not about just the church. It's happening in all countries, even here in Western countries. So if we create it as a movement, I don't know, people who do IT stuff to do like profile, hashtag profile, whatever, to
Yes.
put on a profile so that people can copy and we can move about, like what people did with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So that it's a noise that the whole world we have to listen to, and those in favor will, most people I'm sure would love to help children.
Yeah. No, definitely. We need to get a hashtag that will trend. So again,
yes, I think we've been brainstorming. So I think I just need the ladies to submit more of their brainstorm ideas, because we had a number, Mabel from the other day, Deborah and Kathleen from the other day, that we were thinking of. Like a girl child is still a child. I think the other one was, I'm just looking at the notes, sorry.
no
A girl
child
child
rights.
is still child rights. We also had let girls be girls. you know.
Mm,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was the other one. Let girls be girls.
Okay.
So yeah, so maybe as we, what I would do is, I think tomorrow, before we start tomorrow's show, we'll probably just wrap up and bring in the different things that we've done up to this day for the week. Like, what are we doing about the women empowerment project? Where are we, and what are our expectations? Just to keep people know that we are working towards an end.
Sounds good. There was a question from Linda again on Facebook. She said, is there a WhatsApp group where there is continuous engagement on these issues, or is it on these platforms? Yes, Linda, there is a WhatsApp group. If you give us your WhatsApp number, we can add you to the group. Because I think we're going to be more effective using WhatsApp, especially for the people on the ground in Zimbabwe who might not be able to get on this link. Thank you for raising that.
Thank you, Linda.
So Ruth, or anybody who knows Linda Nkomo, can we get her WhatsApp number and add her to the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I will add her. And I saw, Kathleen, sorry, I saw you had also names. Will you please give me their WhatsApp numbers so that I can also put them onto that group? But I've also created a Facebook page. It's called The Power of Education. Please go join. If I haven't invited you already, because if I'm not friends with you on Facebook, I'm unable to invite you. The Power of Education. Power of Education. It's a Facebook page, and it's I've made it public so that we will be able to have more people come in.
And also, let's think of the kind of people we want in that group. Let's think of teachers, educators, academics, anyone who has a passion around education from all over the world.
Definitely. Thank you. Lawyers, we definitely need lawyers there. Okay. We are 2 minutes from end. Any parting shots, any parting thoughts and words? Anything that is burning before we end our broadcast? Ladies, I'll go around. I'll start with you, Deborah.
I think, like Gertrude said, we need to pray walking. We can't just kneel down to pray, ladies. We need to pray walking like warriors. We need to talk and do. Talk and do. There's no more time to kneel down to pray the whole 3 hours. We need to pray running. So action is needed. Yes, we need to take action and keep talking and keep implementing so that we get something out of this. It won't end like this.
Thank you, Deborah. Mabel?
Yeah, I think we're making good progress because if we look where we came from, and with any movement, it requires people getting together, getting like-minded people to sit together, brainstorm, galvanize, and come up with a strategy. I know sometimes it can look like we're not doing anything yet, but I think just the power of getting together consistently and talking about our ideas, brainstorming, the power of putting minds together. I know I read Think and Grow Rich talks about the idea of just putting masterminding, and this is what we're doing, because out of this comes great ideas. And anything that we have that exists in the world starts from an idea, starts from thoughts. And if we're getting together here like we're doing every day consistently, we're in the right direction. And then obviously we gather momentum, we get more people, and then we have our strategies, and then we move out. So I'm really proud. I'm really happy because it was a heaviness from building the story to actually being part of a movement that's implementing anything moving forward. So I know anything starts from getting together, starts with an idea, and that's what we have already. So I'm very proud. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Mabel. Liz, your parting thoughts?
Thank you for having me, and I believe that change happens, impacts. We can impact this and change this, and one day it will just be history. So I'm quite excited to be part of a group of women that are actually going to get results. I think we can definitely get the results that we want, and we work as a team and get the men on board, and everyone on board will definitely get where we need to get it. And thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen?
I'm so excited to be part of the group that is gonna look into the girl child issues, and I still have got my hope and prayer that one day the law will take its course and it will be implemented, especially in Zimbabwe, so that the girl child can remain safe with their parents, and that the parents, they've got to recognize that the girl child is not to be abused, but to be protected, educated, and she mustn't be vulnerable, but be safe. So I'm happy about this group, and as we continue to find ways on how the laws will be implemented in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sis Gertrude?
My parting thoughts tonight is a quote that I'm going to corrupt very slightly from Shaka Zulu. He said, "Up, children of Zulu, your day has come, up and destroy them all." So my parting thought is, up, children of Zimbabwe, your day has come, up and destroy them all. We will bring about change. We will be a force that will bring about this change. Thank you so much, ladies. We will be back again tomorrow, same time. This
Same
time
yes.
with one man each. That's the minimum.
Yeah.
That's your entry ticket. No man,
That's
no
your entry
joining.
ticket. You can't come in unless you brought one man.
But with money, they always want time. So make sure that the link is there early, so that they need to know for the program tomorrow. Man, they are not like us. You tell a man to say, get up, should get up, get this, and
Okay, I'm going to share both the StreamYard link and the Zoom link straight after this meeting, after this broadcast.
Wonderful.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Karen. And everybody who joined us on our other platforms. Yes, thank
We'll
you
see you
so
guys
much.
tomorrow. Are you going to play us out, Ruth?
No, please do it. You know my computer.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Thank you.